For this video, I was going to do a quick rundown and review of all the books that I read in 2025. The first book, Resiliency Breakthrough, I liked it, but I honestly felt like the 27 tools that were taught throughout that book are kind of no-brainer. They're kind of common sense. Maybe it's something that we don't really think about often, but what I really do like about that book is that the author used it as part of a relational thing. He talks about his issues with ADHD and becoming a public speaker, becoming, I believe, a psychologist, a mental health worker, I can't remember. But he pretty much talks about the tools for resiliency, and then he kind of applies it to certain situations that happen in his life. So I think that's actually refreshing, because we can talk all day about certain things, but then it's like, well, how can I relate to that? Drive, I actually liked a little bit more because it talks about ways to motivate people. And now this book is primarily for like the business leadership kind of things, but you can still relate it to overall leadership. One of the things that I like to use from that book specifically is, I can't remember, I call it MAP, because it's easier for me to understand it, but I think it's really amped. So the first thing is mastery. So you are taught a skill and you have to master it. So for instance, let's talk about kids writing cursive, because cursive is kind of a lost art. You're taught how to write in cursive, and you're gonna keep on doing those writing drills and everything like that because you need to master the art of writing in cursive. Now after you master it, then you're going to assign autonomy. So yes, I taught you how to do your A's this way, but now you can have autonomy. You can do it however you want it, as long as it kind of looks the same way as mine. By the way, now as I'm talking about cursive, this doesn't really work out, but hopefully this makes sense to you where you can follow along. And the last thing is purpose. Why am I learning about cursive? Well, I want to learn about cursive because later on I want to learn how to write formal letters, or I want to handwrite things. I want to make my handwriting look better, or I want to make my signature look better than just me writing my name. So that's kind of the thing: autonomy, mastery, and purpose, or mastery, autonomy, purpose. And I use that a lot when I'm when I'm leading people. I talk about all these things, especially with autonomy. I'm going to teach you how to do something, but I'm going to teach you how to do something, and this is the end result. And I don't care how you get to the end result as long as you give me the end result. So hopefully that kind of helps out. Now, after reading those two books, I decided to make a I decided to make a reading journal. So after Drive, I finally picked up the Body Keep score. This has been in my position for a very, very long time, and I couldn't get past the first couple pages just because this book is thick. Like, it's really, really thick. But I finally finished it basically within a month, and you can see, like, over here, there's a lot of notes. I wrote a lot of quotes down and everything, and I actually really like this book because it reframed my idea and understanding of PTSD and what people go through. The next book that I read after that is Moonwalking with Einstein. Now, Patrick actually started reading this first because he got the recommendation from another book that he was reading, and so on and so forth. But it was interesting because it's basically the art and science of remembering everything, which in hindsight, like, literally, spoiler alert, this talks about this the author's journey as far as learning how to remember things, remembering like a deck of cards, like how they're shuffled, or like the first card to the last card of after it being shuffled and stuff. And it doesn't really teach you a lot of tactics as far as how to memorize things. Like, one of the biggest one is memory palaces, which I've done before, actually when I was reading this, and it kind of helps. It's a really interesting read if you like investigative journalism, if that makes sense. It doesn't really teach you anything, but it's interesting to read about the journey. The next book that I read is The Anxious Generation. Now, this book is actually really, really good to read, especially if you are a parent, period. If you are a parent. Basically, it talks about, I mean, it's not just about social media usage or addiction to electronics and all. It's more of talking about how we got to that level and how it doesn't make sense that we are more comfortable as parents, we're more comfortable letting our children be babysat by electronics like Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, but then we're not okay with them doing free play outside because we're so afraid of them getting kidnapped or hurt, X, Y, and Z. But then there's more stuff that can be harmful mentally online. You know what I mean? So it's a really, really good read. And then it's not only like, hey, this is why it's so wrong, but it also offers solutions as far as what we can do as parents to combat this. One of them is really just like holding out from giving your children cell phones at an early age. I messed up as a parent and giving my first child his cell phone at a pretty young age, like I want to say 12. But my justification was the fact that, oh, his school is off base, and you know, I just want to make sure I can keep track of him and all that stuff. I didn't exactly make boundaries or limitations as far as how is he using his cell phone. So that's kind of my bad. Now that kind of leads me to the recent book that I'm reading, and oh my god, why did I decide to read this? I think honestly the reason why I decided to read this was because I saw something on Facebook, or maybe it was TikTok, about how Napoleon Bonaparte would write to his wife Josephine incessantly, like letters upon letters upon letters upon letters. And initially, from like the outsider's perspective, knowing nothing about this relationship, it sounds cute in theory. It's kind of creepy, to be honest with you. And I guess the reason why I was motivated to read about their history was because I wanted an in-depth understanding of what was going on with that relationship, especially with my own husband going to basic training, and the only means of communication is through writing. So I thought it was almost relational as far as Napoleon and Josephine. I'm wrong. And this book is like 500 odd pages. And I literally am like just, oh my god. It's like, okay, the best way to explain this book is, imagine having friends who are dating each other, like they're a couple and they are so toxic to each other, but they stay with each other, and you're just like, oh my god. And you're basically just there, you know that it's toxic and everything, and you just wish that they would break up or go separate ways, but you're a supportive friend and you're just there to kind of listen to all the drama and stuff. That's literally what this book is about. It also gave me a perspective that perhaps I don't really care about French history, to be exact, because this is just like, oh my gosh, this is like absolutely bonkers. I literally want to quit this book. Like, it's like me banging my head against the wall, but I'm not a quitter, so I'm not. And I'm hoping I can hurry up and finish this book so I can continue my path of reading other books, like these ones, for instance. That's a really quick video as far as the books that I read, but I mean, honestly, I didn't really want to draw it out. My goal on GoodReads is to read at least 25 books this year. Actually, you know what? It's 2026. Let's just do 26. Why not? If you guys have any book suggestions, or you want to know a little bit more about the books that I highlighted, please feel free to comment below. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I have better lighting. Bye.